Hello, welcome to a glorious day in Hitchin in Hertfordshire. Now, of course, many experts agree that eating too much sugar is bad for you. And if you're a parent like me, you're probably always trying to make sure that your kids don't eat too much of it. The trouble is, how do you know which foods have sugar and which don't? Current labels don't tell you everything. But a mum from Cambridge is trying to change that by starting her own labelling scheme. Here's Jo Taylor.
My mission is to get onto the shelves products that people can eat without feeling guilty and without having to go over the sugars that they're supposed to have every day.
Wren Platings is a Cambridge mum on a mission. Her mission to launch a sugar-free label that everyone can understand.
I've got a little girl who means more to me than the whole world, and I won't accept and tolerate this idea that she can have a shorter life than me because of all of the sugars that are in our diet.
With the World Health Organization saying we should cut down our sugar, a sugar-free label sounds a great idea and easy enough, but it's not. There are good sugars and bad sugars, and the problem is there's no standard way of labelling them. In her quest, Wren has become a bit of an expert.
The sugars that are in fruit juice, honey, syrups like agave and so on are free sugars, as are just the ordinary table sugar that people think of when you think of sugar. They're bad for us because they typically come with very little nutrition associated with them, and so they raise your calories and your blood sugar levels without actually giving you anything. So the guidance is that your free sugars should be 5% of your calories or less. At the moment on packaging you can't tell the difference between what's a free sugar and what's a naturally occurring sugar. So what we're doing is we're certifying all of the products with the Sugarwise certification that are within the guidelines.
But to find foods that are genuinely sugar-free and would qualify for Wren's label isn't easy. We head to Food Matters Live, an annual event for food producers, to taste some of the new sugar-free products being made. First up is a cashew nut butter cracker, meant to replace the humble chocolate digestive.
I do like it,
I do too.
but I think you might have to change people's taste buds.
This biscuit uses yacon syrup instead of sugar, extracted from the yacon plant.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine dipping that in my cup of tea, but as a completely different type of snack, I do enjoy it.
Then we try some muffins made from a mix that seems to be free from everything. It has no gluten, dairy, and of course, no sugar.
Does taste slightly different. I can tell it hasn't got sugar in it, but it has still got a bit of sweetness. So, what do they use to sweeten it?
They use xylitol, which is a natural sweetener.
It looks like a possible contender for Wren's label, but it's not cheap.
That costs £7.95.
$7.95.
And it makes into about 9 or 10 muffins, or about 14 to 16 cupcakes.
Okay, so almost £1 a muffin are we looking at?
About 85 to 90 pence per muffin.
What's this we've got here? It's a hazelnut chocolate spread.
And then we stumble across Kevin Bath from Essex. He decided to create a chocolate spread without using table sugar when he realised how much is in a normal jar.
Every single chocolate spread on the market contain 57 sugar cubes.
Wow.
Which is in a jar that size, which is quite a shocking amount of sugar.
Shocking amount.
And that's the reason why we actually launched the brand, or kind of come up with the concept of the brand, because I've got 2 small children.
Instead, he uses maltitol, another type of sweetener or sugar alcohol. It has half the calories of table sugar and is better for your teeth.
Let's try this, because I'm quite excited to try this now. It's chocolate hazelnut.
Yep.
Well, it smells good.
It does, but it...
Oh my gosh. No, are you serious? This doesn't have any sugar?
This is actually...
I've got to take another look.
Wren takes a jar away to analyse for sugar content to double-check it qualifies for her label. But Wren's idea won't work unless she can get the supermarkets on board. She's managed to get a meeting with one of the top bosses at Tesco.
I'd like to ask Tesco to sign up to trial the scheme. What I'd love to see is a product that's truly low sugar being made, and I'd like to see my label on it.
But it becomes clear what a big issue Wren is taking on.
There won't be resistance from the suppliers, but you might find them would need a bit of persuasion to embark on something that intrinsically will add cost to their process. What they'll need reassurance about is that customers will find what we're offering them as an alternative is not just acceptable but almost preferred.
Rend will need to make sure her scheme is legally watertight. Shoppers will want to know they can trust her label.
You need to enforce it. You need to make sure that those who are signed up to an accreditation scheme are actually adhering to the standard. So there needs to be some form of, I use the term enforcement, maybe audit. I think trust is at the heart of that. If you haven't got a scheme that's clear, well enforced, well agreed, then to be honest, you might as well not have one.
The good news is that Jim Jam's chocolate and hazelnut spread has been tested and passed. Rend is going to have to create proper checks on anything she certifies.
Who likes marshmallows?
But how about the taste bud test? Would these children eat it?
Wow.
It's time to put Jim Jam's chocolate and hazelnut spread to the vote.
Okay, what I want you to do is each take one biscuit from each colour plate, just one, and then I want you to taste them and tell me which one you prefer. Okay, dig in.
The spread on the red plate is Kevin's Jim Jam's product. The spread on the blue plate is a branded chocolate and hazelnut spread.
Does anyone need red one? I need red one. I swear, that tastes the same.
Will they be able to work out which one is which?
So hands up, how many of you prefer the blue one? Okay, and how many of you prefer the red one?
The group is split. It's pretty much half and half.
Now the next question is, how many of you think the blue one has no sugar in? One. There's only one of you. Okay, and how many of you think the red one has no sugar in?
I like both of them, to be honest.
So you couldn't tell a difference?
Yeah, I couldn't really tell the difference, so I'd had both of them.
I like the blue one because it tastes like normal food, but the other one tastes like
Fake.
I still prefer the red one. I just think it just tasted nicer, I thought. You couldn't really tell much of a difference, but there was a bit different, and I'd really like the red one because it wasn't as sweet as the blue one, but it was still really, really nice.
I'd still go for the sugar because it's really sweet but tempting. So, but then I think if I wanted to cut out the sugar, then I would definitely go for the red. So, which would be better for me.
But the problem is you still like sugar.
Yeah, I'm still a sweet tooth.
So quite a good result for Kevin. He's already got his product stocked in some shops and an online supermarket. Rend is still in talks with Tesco about certifying one of their products and has also approached other supermarkets. Her hope is to have her label on our shelves within a few months.